be talking a little bit about preserving satsuma juice. It is now satsuma season here in South Alabama and most of the Southeast. And for those of you that are not familiar with what a satsuma is, it is this wonderful little fruit right here. And so we went out and we picked a bucket full this morning, and I want to talk to you guys a little bit about preserving the juice in a concentrated form for later. They're a very popular fruit in this area, and when I try to describe to people what they are, I use the example of the cuties that you buy at Walmart for kids. And the reason that I use that as a relation is they're very easy to peel. As you can see, it's kind of already peeled a little bit from where we pulled it off the tree. And then they've got sort of that sweet, juicy flavor that kids absolutely love, right? So yeah! So we love satsumas. And so they're a very popular fruit in this area and most of the Southeast. A lot of farmers grow them and sell them for profit. And then a lot of people just really enjoy them as a good treat throughout the day. We were very fortunate when we bought this property 4 years ago. It's almost 12 acres that it already had a couple of satsuma trees that were well established. So we're very fortunate that we have that we get satsumas every year. But of course, throughout the rest of the summer and everything, you don't always have access to satsumas. So what we like to do is try to freeze a large portion of juice in a concentrated form, and that way, if you want to do something later with it, if you want to make like a lemonade type version but with satsuma juice, which is what we do, or you want to come back later and you want to make your marmalades or your jellies or your jams, something that you may not have time to do right now, you have your juice already concentrated down and frozen for you. And the reason being is that it's the end of November, so you're going into December, and you know, you're looking at the holidays, and people are usually very busy during the holidays. You've got your Christmas shopping going on, and there's a lot of stuff that has to be done, and then you got family coming in, and so you don't always have time to do what you want to do with your satsumas. And the same with the lemons. We do the same thing with the lemons as well. But this is a great way to preserve your juice for later. And so I'll kind of walk through everything with y'all and show you what we like to do. And it's not the best way to preserve satsumas. There are different methods out there, but it's just one that we use and we've had really good luck with it. So I kind of wanted to share this information. Don't eat it. Take the peel off of it first. They love satsumas. Kids love satsumas, and they're a really good healthy treat. I got a pig running through the house if y'all are wondering what that was. But anyway, I'll kind of walk through what we do, and we use, like I said, the same method with our lemons, only we juice them a little bit different because lemons are a little bit more difficult to deal with than satsumas. And so we'll get started. Okay. So here is our beautiful little bucket of satsumas. We actually have already picked probably 3 buckets off of our tree, but we were very fortunate enough that it produced a large amount this year, and so we've had plenty enough to give away to friends and family and snack on, and still have enough left to preserve for later in the season. And so to get started, all we have to do is just start peeling our satsumas to get to the meat of it. And as I said before, they're very easy to peel. This is one reason that they're such a wonderful fruit, is that they're very easy to deal with. They're wonderful to handle, and it makes it so much easier than like lemons and some of the other fruits that can be more difficult. What's that? And so that's the meat of it. As you can see, it's very easy. You just peel your rind off, and there you go. And so the idea is that you want to get a large amount of meat, and then we'll blend it down and sift it to get the majority of the pulp out of it, and then freeze it in ice trays, and then you'll have little concentrated cubes of satsuma juice. And then from there, what we like to do, put that back, what we like to do is take the ice cubes and put them in with some sugar and some water and make like a lemonade version but with satsuma juice. Mildred, get off the camera. And so it doesn't take very long to get a large amount because they're super easy to peel. And so once we get a bucket full, we'll put it in the blender. Get off there. It's a pig. And so once we get a bucket full of our meat, we'll put it in the blender and we'll blend it down, and then we'll start our sifting process. You want to help Mama peel? We like to have fresh lemonade year-round, so we use the same technique. The only difference is that lemons are a little bit more difficult to juice, and so what we do is we take the lemons and we split them in half, and then we have to hand juice them, and then we'll sift them down to get as much of the pulp out of them as we can, and then we freeze them in the same way. And then once they're all frozen, I put everything in like a gallon or 2-gallon bag to keep in the freezer all the time, and whenever I get ready to make fresh lemonade, I just go get a couple of cubes and add it in with my sugar water. And once everything dissolves and then you cool it back down, you have fresh, cool lemonade. And it's the same thing with the satsumas. We do essentially the same thing, so it's lemonade but with satsumas instead. And it kind of saves us a lot of money because we don't drink a lot of sodas and Cokes and stuff like that. So we're not spending a lot of money on carbonated drinks. And then on top of that, it's off the farm and it's fresh, and you know, it's a good feeling knowing that you're drinking your own homemade lemonade juice or satsuma juice. Is that good? I've noticed that more and more people have started doing like we do, where they operate a small farm or homestead on the side. And the reason being is because people are starting to question their food more. They're wanting to get back to the basics and know that their food is fresh and know how it was raised and know, you know, where it was raised and what went into it, especially with their meats and stuff like that. And so it's becoming very popular for people to do the small time farming and homesteading these days. And I for one absolutely love it and support it 100%. Anybody that wants to farm or homestead, I think it's great, and I hope that more people get into it as time goes on. And I especially think that it's great for kids. I think that any kid that's involved on a farm or a homestead leads a pretty good life. And so you can see that one, it completely broke apart all by itself. This is one of the most beautiful things about satsumas, is that they're super, super easy to handle. And it makes it so nice when it comes to doing your preserving or your canning or your freezing or however you choose to preserve. It definitely makes things go by a lot quicker, knowing that you don't have to sit for hours and do it. It takes no time to peel almost a whole bucket of satsumas and render down a large amount of juice. The only bad thing about dealing with satsumas and lemons or any other fruit, because we also do the same with our oranges, is that it is sticky. So prepare for a mess in your kitchen. We would actually be doing this outside if it wasn't for the fact that it's very cold and windy right now. So that's why we're in the kitchen making a huge mess. But it's all worth it. It's always all worth it. So it's all worth it. And she's finally getting to the point that she's old enough that she wants to help and she wants to be a part of everything, so that makes it a lot more fun. I totally support anybody that wants to do farming and homesteading with kids, because I think it's a great way of life for them. Okay, so I kind of just wanted to show you guys, we're not completely done with the bucket yet, but I just wanted to show y'all all of these citrus peels that are left over. There's just, I mean, it's a whole pile of them. They are absolutely wonderful for your compost bin. And then there are other things that you can do with them, like people take them and they put them in a little bit of vinegar water and they make their own homemade disinfectant spray. And then there's people that freeze them in ice cubes and put them in their garbage disposal to help with smells and help disinfect their garbage disposal. So even though it's a messy job dealing with the satsumas and oranges and lemons, there's a lot of benefit to it, because you can use almost every little bit of the satsuma, the lemon, the orange, whatever it is that you're messing with at that time. And so even though you have a large amount of scraps left over, such as these peels, you can always use them for whatever it is that you may need. There's definitely different ways to dispose of them and get a lot of benefit out of them. So here we go. We have already went through and we have peeled a large amount of satsumas. We've got them in our bucket here, and then we've got them in our blender. And what we're going to do is blend these down to just the juice, and that way we can sift through and get all of our pulp out of it and have just the leftover remaining concentrated satsuma juice. And so there's really not much pulp in there, as you can tell. The only reason that we sift it down a little bit more is just so that we don't have any pulp in our juice that we drink later, just because we don't like a lot of pulp. And so I just allow it to drain down for a little bit into a separate bowl, and it kind of separates the froth and the thick pulp, and allows it to be a little bit thinner. And then when you go to make your lemonade, it won't be quite as thick on you to drink. And then this leftover pulp and froth you can use for other things. It's great for marmalades and jellies if you want kind of a pulpy type jelly, which some people really like. And then there's other things as well. You can make it into cleaning solutions for your house and things like that. And so that's the idea, is just to kind of strain it down a little bit. And so that's what we have afterwards. It's a much thinner version of everything. It's not quite as thick as it was with all of the pulp in it. And then now we'll separate this out into ice trays and allow it to freeze. Okay, so we're all set up in the freezer. We're going to give it a full 24 hours. We got a couple trays in this freezer. Then we're all set up in here as well. We'll give everything a full 24 hours to solidify, and then we'll pop it out and put it into our freezer baggies, and then you can keep it year-round in a freezer bag and just remove and use however much you need. And there you have it. Okay, so it has been a full 24 hours. Our juice set up very well. As you can see, we've already removed it from the ice trays and put it in the little plastic baggies. And here we have it. We have our big old bag right here of lemon ice squares, and then our bag right here, and our bag right here of the satsuma juice. And now it's preserved for making satsuma juice to drink, or if you want to use the cubes later for marmalades or jellies or anything like that, you can also do that. And then you can see up there that we got our little lemon slices. And there you have it. Satsuma juice ready for the refrigerator. I usually let it rest for a good 2 hours, give it a chance to cool down, and then stir it real well again before adding it to the refrigerator and allowing it to cool. But it's a great drink for your household. If you're like us and you like to make your own stuff, it makes a great addition to the fridge. We try to keep sweet tea and lemonade and satsuma juice readily available for anybody that comes to visit, and then we enjoy it with our meals as well. Thank you guys for joining us. I hope this information has been helpful, and as always, we wish you the very best in your farming and homesteading adventures. Bye!